part of the game. That's what I signed up for. But y'all best believe y'all gonna see me again real soon. No, not really. Not at all. It was all on my end. Shoot, like, keep going. That's all it was. Of course, I got caught with something most of a flash knockdown. But, shoot, I got right back up, got right back into the action. Slightly. I mean, when I felt the headbutt, it was like, hey, it is what it is. I think it was like around 10, 11, or 12. It was close to the end, so I said, hey, you don't need to see anyway. Just keep throwing punches. So that was the whole game plan when I got caught with the headbutt. Learned a lot about myself. That's all that matters. I learned a lot. Yeah, just another guy, just another opponent. Of course, he was the better man, but this what I do.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and I'm back at y'all with another one. So a few people hit me up, and they asked me my thoughts on some comments made post-fight by Brian Norman Jr. When asked, how does he rate Devin Haney? He made the statement that Devin Haney is just another fighter. And Devin Haney, also Brian Norman Sr. said that it wasn't a dominant performance by Devin Haney. It was just a win by Devin Haney. Here's the thing. My thoughts on that. My thoughts is this, is that, for one, if Devin Haney is just another fighter, then why didn't you win? Why didn't you make adjustments? If he's just another fighter, right? Why didn't you make adjustments and win? He's not just another fighter, he's special. And Brian Norman Sr. said that it wasn't a dominant performance. It was a dominant performance. Here's the thing about it, is that Devin Haney, the point that Brian Norman Sr. is missing is that Devin Haney took his foot off the gas. And the point that Brian Norman Jr. is missing, in my opinion, is that if he was average or just another fighter, then what does that make you? Here's the thing, right, that people are getting misconstrued, is that Devin Haney announced himself to Brian Norman. He made the statement early when he caught him with the left hook and he dropped him in the second round. But something else is that people are not paying attention to is that that's not the only time Devin Haney hurt Brian Norman. He hurt Brian Norman a few times with the 1-2. He just didn't go in to end the show. He didn't take the risk. He took the Floyd Mayweather route, which is you're not taking punishment. You can control the pace of the fight, get the W, and get up out of there, right? Hence, Floyd Mayweather versus Shane Mosley. When he started tagging Shane Mosley, right? After Shane Mosley rocked him, he started tagging Shane Mosley, right? But he just did just enough to win the rounds. That's what Devin Haney did. He did just enough to win the rounds. It wasn't what Brian Norman was doing. It was what Devin Haney chose to do. That's why it's a dominant victory for Devin Haney, because he chose to do what he wanted to do, which was fight in the manner he chose to fight in, which was to play it safe. And Brian Norman could not force him out his comfort zone, could not force him to do something he didn't want to do, could not force him to be more offensive minded. He couldn't force him to do anything. So therefore, it was a dominant performance because Devin Haney did just what he said he was going to do going into the fight, which is, I'm going to do whatever I want against this guy and there's nothing he can do about it. And he stood true to that. He was stronger. He had a better jab. He was more twitchy. He had a better counterpunch. And ultimately, he had something else that Senior said that he didn't have, which is great footwork. He froze Brian Norman every chance he got with the jab if he wanted to. When he nailed him with the 1-2, he hurt Brian Norman and wobbled him a few times in the fight. The second round is just the time he actually went down. But if you actually rewatch the fight, which I did, he actually hurt Brian Norman a few times. Brian Norman just didn't go down, and Devin Haney didn't commit. So just because Devin Haney didn't commit don't mean he wasn't dominating. That was his choice. That was his choice, right? So when he says he's just another fighter, that sounds like he was in the moment, as he was, because it was him. It was Brian Norman immediately following the fight. You understand? So that was Brian Norman's response immediately following the fight. But again, that's my response. Senior then said that he was a lot better than what they thought. He was a lot stronger than what they thought. And he says, yes, he thinks that when Brian Norman got hurt and with the left hook, ironically enough, it was the left hook. When he got hurt with the left hook and he got dropped, he was hesitant from that point forward to commit to anything. So he wasn't letting his hands go. Well, then that means Devin Haney, again, wasn't a average fighter. That means he was better than average because he had a lot of power that you said he had nothing in his gloves. They did the face-off, and Devin said, don't be surprised if I drop you. Don't be surprised I stop you. Brian Norman Jr. said, you can't. You ain't got nothing in those gloves. Well, he proved to have something in those gloves because he did drop him, and he could have, if there was more time left in the round, he possibly would have stopped him. He ran out of time. He hurt him again in that very same round. In that very same round, he hurt Brian Norman again, if you rewatch it. So to say he's just another fighter, I think that was just being a prisoner of the moment, period. And you can't say he's average, because if he was average and he dominated you, because he did dominate him, then what does that make you? Simple. It was emotions running high, period. What I think is that Brian Norman got in the ring. He was listening to all the hype that Devin Haney don't have, that Devin don't have power. Devin Haney's a runner. And another thing, he stood right in front of Brian Norman Jr. and handicapped him. And when Brian Norman landed the left hook, Devin Haney didn't budge. So therefore, he exceeded your expectations, because if he didn't have the power that you said he didn't have, then you would have walked forward and been more aggressive. You didn't. Period. Brian Norman's a very good fighter, in my opinion, and I think he's going to bounce back. I think styles make fights. Even his dad says styles make fights. It would be a better fight for Ryan Garcia and Devin and Brian Norman. Yeah, because Ryan Garcia's flat-footed. Devin is standing in front of you, but he ain't flat-footed. He's twitchy. Ryan Garcia is not twitchy. That's the difference. But let me know what y'all think, man. Drop a comment in the comment section. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. I'm gone. Peace.